give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground. Now this ain't no movement, this a takedown. We will not be moved or intimidated. We ain't the type. You got a problem, tell them cross the fucking line. My niggas ain't polite. Soldiers to the left and right. I die for every man body. Before I be a coward, I'd rather be a dead body. This will be my kingdom when the hour pass. You can either get with it or get flipped like an hourglass. We live by honor and no excuse. Just send the prayer up to the Lord. I told him to let all the terrorists loose. Hold your tongue or get rebuked, cause you made a truce. But a race to make merchandise out of my abuse. Scared of who? You got your gun, then pull it. Me and my niggas start to argue, it's about who gon' bite the bullet. It gon' take round, take round, take round. Opponents better move slow. Attack dog for this truth, nigga, cool zone. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Oh, thought you could cross us with no consequence, but you will pay dearly. You should've used your common sense. My zeal lit, that means you could never prevail. Hey, with a true sin, hey, with warriors dwell. Be wise with them weapons, cause I promise my nine just like my wife, she concealed, she modest. I know two things, a robber will not prosper, and any man harm me and my octave gon' meet the doctor. Cause this life is warfare, it's not an easy walk. Been watching my people die so you can miss me with that love talk. My UPK soldiers, any man try to cross your path, make him regret it. What that means? Fall on his age. Comparing me to you really ain't no contest. Lonely one west, say what? Lonely one west. This for those who thinking we ain't ready for. Tell them back up, I'm about to drop something heavy for. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down.
Hey, Shalom, Bmopre, Shalom, Israel. We're the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming straight out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yanni, you understand? And this is the Wednesday night biblical law class, you understand? This is one of the important classes. All the classes are important, but in particular, a lot of times we don't understand the laws of God, and that's why we break them. You know, like, if we're told what's right and what's wrong, we have a better chance of actually doing what's right. And I mean, like, a lot of us, we haven't been taught the proper way because because of this society, because of Christianity, because of so many different vices, and especially this oppressor that we're under. You understand? But this is where we get back into the law of the Lord, you understand? This is how we find out how to serve the Lord properly, the correct way, when we take all the mysticism that Christianity put on us, you understand? So this is the biblical law class, and we're going to be speaking on how obedience to the Lord is how we build our kingdom. Like, our kingdom, our nation, our race, you understand? Like, we've been taught that we've got to follow our oppressor and we got to live his lifestyle and we got to live the way he wants us to live in order for us to build a kingdom for our people. But in contrary, when we do that, we're actually feeding into white supremacy. We're feeding into what this oppressor, our colonizer, wants us to do. His way of life, his lifestyle, his culture. And by doing that, we become enemies to God because we put away our own culture. Like, we put away the culture we put away God's laws, statutes, and commandments, and we put away the Lord's culture in exchange for the oppressors. And that seems right to us. You understand? But we're going to find out that obedience to the Lord is how we're going to build our kingdom. And we're going to see how, like, as we become obedient to the Most High, our oppressor's kingdom is going to begin to fall. Not only is his kingdom going to fall, like, while his kingdom is falling, our kingdom will be rising. You know, and the whole earth will see this. More importantly, we will see this. You know, we'll understand for the first time since we've been in this God-forsaken land, you understand? Like, we will understand what it means to serve the Most High and what it means to be under the Lord's protection and have the Lord as our Father again. You understand? And so we're going to get into that today. So let me get, if I could, we're going to hop into the Apocrypha to start off. We're going to hop into 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 5. We're gonna get that in the scripture. Let me get that with you too. All right, I'm there. The water too.
2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction.
Keep going.
Verse 6. Verse 6. For the wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled.
You understand? Here it is, the Most High is saying, I will bring plagues upon this world, man. I'm going to bring the sword, famine, death, and destruction. You know, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Like, this is talking about these nations out here, man. In particular, this colonizer that we're oppressed under, you understand? Like, but it's not limited just to him. It's talking about these other heathen nations as well, you understand? Like, the Most High is going to bring plagues upon this world. Like, that's what this coronavirus was. This coronavirus was a plague from the Lord, man.
Right.
You understand? Like, and we got to see it as such. Like, it's the sword. Like, soon as the coronavirus, as soon as they start relaxing on the coronavirus restrictions, what happened? What's been happening in the past 2 weeks? You've been here, mass shootings left and right. You understand? That's that sword that the Most High is talking about.
Right.
You understand? Like, he's going to bring these plagues upon this world. He's going to bring the sword. That's why we're hearing about so many mass shootings. Like, you can't even, you can't go to X, Y, and Z place without it getting shot up. You understand? So that's the Lord's doing. Keep going.
For wickedness.
No, stop. Go back up to verse 5, Baba Kasha.
Verse 5. 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction.
We say famine. Famine is a lack of food, man.
Right.
Now, over here, we may not look at it. We may look at famine and seem like it's something that's far off. But when coronavirus first hit, we just seen like a small molecule, like a small sample of what famine could be.
Right.
You understand? Like you go to the markets and it's completely empty. There's nothing on the shelves. There's nothing in the freezers. You understand? Like there's no food in the markets. There's not food being slaughtered no more. You understand? Like you ain't growing the crops no more. Like this is the famine that the Most High is talking about that He's going to bring to this world.
Right.
Then it says death and destruction. This is all a compilation of everything that's to come to these heathen nations in this wicked world that we're living in. Like this world is not ours. Like it's ruled by the wicked. That's why in the verse 6, can you grab it from me, Kasha?
Verse 6, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth.
They say for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth. What is wickedness? Wickedness is anything that's going against the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High.
Right.
You got, just to name a few, you got homosexuality running rampant.
Right.
You know, you got drug dealing, drug abuse, you understand, running rampant,
Right.
rape, molesting, murdering, running rampant all throughout the world. And guess what? This is not the culture of our people.
Right.
You understand? Like, this is not our culture. This is the culture of our oppressor. Like, that's how he took this land. That's how he took every land that he's so-called conquered. He's taking it in a wicked fashion. You understand? So it's like the Most High is saying the wicked have exceedingly polluted the whole earth and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Like the things that they're doing is absolute wickedness. But what makes it worse is they've convinced us that it's righteous. So the things that's against the Lord that they do, that's a part of their culture, we've taken on their customs.
Right.
We've put their spirit on us instead of the Most High spirit. You understand? But here's the thing. If we're obedient to what the Lord has to say, if we listen to what the Lord has to say, these are prophecies right here. These are prophecies that the Most High is speaking of. Most High is saying He will tear this kingdom down, man. He will tear these nations down. He will tear this world apart for our sake, man. That's why it's so important to be obedient to the Lord. Keep going, Brother Kasha.
Verse 7. Verse 6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Verse 7. Therefore saith the Lord. Verse 8. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things.
It is the Most High say He's not going to hold His tongue no more. Understand? Like the Most High has been holding His tongue to their wickedness, man. To the wickedness of these other nations, to the wickedness and how they deal with us. You understand? Like to the wickedness and how they oppress us. He said, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things. Like the Most High is not going to suffer them to do what they've done to us thus far. You understand? Like, this is a prophecy that the Most High is speaking on concerning these other nations. But we're going to get into the scriptures and we're going to see what it is that we must do in order for this prophecy to come to pass. Keep going, Brother Kasha.
Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continuously.
Here it is. It say, behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me. This innocent and righteous blood is the blood of these of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Like, our blood cries out. Our blood cries out to the Most High, man. You understand? Like, our blood cries out to the Most High. This is the innocent and righteous who the scripture is speaking of. You understand? Like, you look at Trayvon Martin, you look at George Floyd, you look at all these brothers and sisters who lost their lives to this oppressor, man. Like, their blood should not be crying out to the Lord. But yet and still it is, man, because of this wicked oppressor that we're under. You understand? And they say the souls of the just complain continually. Like, the souls of the souls of the just complain continually, because here's the thing: when you're trying to follow, when you're following these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, you understand? You recognize the oppression that we're under, and you cry out to the Lord for better conditions for our people. Like, that's the real. Like, if we ever want to fix ourselves, instead of us going to the Christian pastor, and we're going to get into them as well later, instead of us going to the politicians, the so-called black leaders, we should be taking our complaints to the Lord. Like, we should be taking our complaints to the Lord and saying, listen, I understand that we've been wrong in X, Y, and Z, but not only are we trying to follow you, we want what was promised to us in the days of old. You understand? We're willing to do what it takes to receive those things. You understand? Like, that should be that should be our argument, or that should be our approach, instead of going to the so-called Christian pastor, instead of going to the same oppressor that put us in this condition. And far too often, because we don't know no better, that's what we do. Like, the same person that put us in these conditions is the same person that we run to get us out of it. You understand? And the thing is, that seems like no one would ever do that. You understand? But that shows you how much of a destroyed people we are, and why we're destroyed. Like, we're destroyed because of our leadership, man. We're destroyed because of our leadership. We're destroyed because of these so-called black leaders that's supposed to be for us. They go and they make deals with these other nations, with these heathen nations. You understand? They're in complete coercion with them. And what it does is they sell us up a river for the gain of these other nations. That's why, like, when you see a city like Baltimore, even though Baltimore is predominantly black, it's a black city. Black people don't own no business. Like, the percentage of black businesses in Baltimore is slim to none. You understand? Like, you look at some of the venues. Look at some of the venues that most black people occupy. You got Lexington Market, you got Pennsylvania Avenue, you got Mondawmin Mall. You understand? Like, they call it Murder Mall. They call it Murder Mall. You see what I'm saying? And the thing is, when you go into Mondawmin, you don't see a lot of black-owned businesses. You see Asians, you see East Indians, you see all these foreign nations owning businesses in the heart of our communities. You understand? All that's gonna come to an end, man. Go ahead, Dr.
That's happening with the city. I was in Mondawmin yesterday, and actually, what you're talking about is what I was thinking about. Like, I was looking around like, damn, nothing.
Right.
We own like probably, we ain't even own it. We rent the little booths in the room.
Right.
That ain't even own it. You know what I'm saying? But you see the East Indian in there. You see the Arab. You see the North Korean, the Japanese. You see every other nation but us in it. You know what I'm saying? And they making a killing. I think Mondawmin Mall is the most productive mall in America.
I take this step further. I think Mondawmin Mall is one of the most productive malls in this entire nation. You know, like you've seen a documentary on that before, and Mondawmin Mall was mentioned because if you ever look at a lot of our neighborhoods in which you may have like a world-renowned establishment or something like that, such as Mondawmin here in Baltimore. If you ever go into the mall, look at who's shopping. Like, look at who's shopping. You do not see Asians walking around shopping in Mondawmin. You know, you don't see the so-called white man, our oppressor, walking around like that, shopping in Mondawmin. You don't see the East Indian. You never see them shopping, period. The Arabs, you never see them shopping. You only see us. You only see us. But like Nazis always bringing out, the only businesses we may have is we may have a little oil spot that they give us like in the middle of the mall. Where you got like a table that you got to set up by yourself right there, like a tent. You see what I'm saying? And you can only sell from that particular venue. But you look at these other nations, man, they got full-fledged stores that you got to walk in. Check your bags when you come in. You see what I'm saying? Like, these things shall be no more in our community, man. People look at it like it's nothing. Like, we look at it like it's nothing. Like it's just another day. It's actually a wicked, evil practice, man. Like, it's a wicked practice, man, because you take these nations and they're coming in and pretty much they're feeding on us. They're feasting on us. That's why the Lord called them the beast of the field. Our oppressor is the most subtle beast of the field, but nevertheless, these other nations, they're beasts in this field, in the field, man. And they feeding on the Lord's children, man. Like, they're feeding on the Lord's children. But the thing is, when we come back to serving the Most High, all of those beasts of the field are going to be put in their place, man. You know, so it's something that we have to do. And matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Let's get Deuteronomy 28:1, and then we're gonna go to Deuteronomy 28:15. We're just gonna see the blessings and cursings of following the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. You can read whenever you do it.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
It says, if thou shalt hearken diligently. Hearken means listen. Right. If we should listen diligently, like listen closely to what the Most High is telling us. Like, the Most High is going to tell us something. He's going to tell us the benefits of doing that. You know, keep going.
To observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
Most High say, man, we gotta, as a nation of people, we gotta keep these law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Right. Not just some of them. Right. Not just the good ones, right. You know, what we consider to be the good ones. All the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord is good. But yeah, we gotta understand that Most High is saying all of the commandments we have to keep.
Right.
You had something like that?
Yeah, I mean, the scripture is pretty much telling you, like you said, that the Lord is telling you to listen diligently. You know what I'm saying? To listen real closely. You know what I'm saying? And most of these, Christian church don't listen to any of the laws or the commandments of the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got Creflo Dollar that tells you. I mean, it's on YouTube to tell you that the law is done away with. Like, you don't have to do anything that God tell you. And right here, the scripture is telling you to listen to what he's diligently saying. You know what I'm saying? It's mind-blowing. You know what I mean?
And like he said to observe and to do all his commandments. Like, a lot of times we take on that spirit that we know better than God. Because that's the spirit that we've been taught. We've been taught to have that spirit in relationship to the Most High.
Right.
You understand? Like, we've been taught to think that we have a personal relationship with the Lord. That we can do whatever we want, God knows my heart.
Right.
Like, we've been conditioned to think that way. Most High said, follow all my commandments, meaning that crab feast is unlawful, man.
Right.
You know, that shrimp cheesesteak is unlawful. That shrimp yakami and shrimp fried rice is unlawful.
Right.
You understand? That pork chop is unlawful. You know, sleeping with that sister, even though you know she has a man, is unlawful. Even though the Christian pastor said that you two were more compatible than she and her husband. You know, even though the Christian pastor has taught those things, the Most High say if you sleep with that woman, man, you've committed adultery.
Right.
So the Most High is telling us we got to keep all His commandments. Keep going, go up the show.
To observe and to do all His commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
You got to read that one more time, so it's locking. You got to read that one more time because it's like from the way it says that the Lord. That the Lord.
Oh, sorry. That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Here it is. The Most High is saying, like, if we observe and do all His commandments, like, if we actually discipline ourselves, if we actually get the proper training, the proper understanding of what these scriptures mean, the proper understanding of what, you know, of how to serve the Most High. You understand? Like, do all these law, statutes, and commandments. The Most High is saying that I'm going to set thee on high. On high. Like, we used to just stop there. Like, this is a lot of times what the Christian church will do. They'll read everything up until it say, the Lord thy God will set thee on high. And they'll stop. And you think that's everybody, man. God loves everybody, right? It say above all nations of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not equality. The Most High is not interested in equality. The Most High is interested in setting us above all nations on the face of this earth. That means that when it comes to our oppressor, it's not like right now we're still asking for equality and equal rights, equal voting rights. Understand? Like, we're still asking for pretty much things that should be like human rights. That we're still begging for those things. The Most High said we ain't got to beg for those things. He said we just do what He told us to do. He's going to set us on high above all of these nations. If we're equal to these nations, how can we truly affect? How can we actually set our kingdom up? How can we build our kingdom if we're equal to the oppressor?
Right.
Understand? Like, it's impossible to do. The Most High has to set us above them because we have to bring order back to things. You understand? Like, this is the blessing that the Most High spoke of. You understand? Like, what you do, if you could, above the show. Let me get verse 7.
Verse 7.
Come on.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 7. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways.
There it is. The Most High is saying He's going to cause our enemies to rise up against us to be smitten. You understand? The Most High is going to deal with these other nations. Like, that goes right along the scripture we were just reading. You know, of how the Most High is going to punish these nations. The Most High is going to punish these nations for the things that they do to us, but we have to do something first. Like, we actually have to obey the Most High. Just like any good father, you know, Any good father is going to chastise his child who steps out of line.
Right.
That's a given. But we've been chastised enough. Like I know I'm sick and tired of hearing about brothers, you know, and sisters and our children getting murdered year in and year out, day for day, week for week. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a never-ending story. You see what I'm saying? Like, to the point where as though we hear about our people being murdered so much to where as though we actually become desensitized to it. You understand? Like, that's like PTSD, man. Like, it's not supposed to be normal that a brother that you see one week, you see him and you talk to him and you communicate with him, and the next week he had his brains blown out. That's not normal.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But it's become so normal to us because, like, death is just something that that's just been a part of us for so long now that we're so desensitized to it. Most High is saying, like, listen, you follow what I say to do, I'm going to set you on high above all these nations. Not only am I going to do that, you understand, I'm going to punish these other nations. You understand? Like, this is the beginning of us building our own kingdom, building the Lord's kingdom. It's being obedient. It's actually doing what the Most High said to do. Because when we take the power away from our oppressor, how do we take the power away from our oppressor? We stop serving him.
Right.
We stop serving him, man. Like, you know, I'm not sure if y'all heard, but I was listening to the radio. I was going to the slavery just I think it was Monday or Tuesday, and the Ricky Smiley show was on here in Baltimore City, and he was talking about as a pastor that grew up in his neighborhood when he was little. The daughter is like 30-some years old. She just recently got gunned down on Easter. He said she was only at the park celebrating Easter. She can't even celebrate Easter without getting shot. You understand? And the irony of it is, it does not seem like a wicked practice to celebrate these other cultures, these other holidays and whatnot, you understand? But just the same as when we break in other laws and other statutes and other commandments, so is celebrating their holidays.
Right.
You understand? Like, we have to be tired of that. You see what I'm saying? Like, we got to get tired of seeing our sisters, our brothers, our children get murdered because they don't know no better. Because the Christian pastor then promoted Easter for the last 3 weeks. You see what I'm saying? And our people don't know no better. You see what I'm saying? Like that, like, we have to get tired of seeing that. We got to get tired of hearing that. You know what I'm saying? That's why everybody, like, you can say what you want to say about the ISUPK, but everything that the ISUPK have been saying since 1969, you're seeing come to fruition in this earth, man. This is where the priests and prophets live. You understand? For so many years, you've heard, man, them Israelites, them UPK, man, them dudes, they wild, man. They off the chain, man. Like, man, they crazy. They say anything out their mouth. They rude. They this, that, and the third. You understand? But though, like the scripture say, though we be rude in speech, not in knowledge, man. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're not even being rude. Like, that's the crazy part about it. It's not rude for us to tell our people, hey man, we got to stop doing this or we're going to die. Right. That's nothing rude about that. Yeah. If your child is running into oncoming traffic and you raise your voice at your child, people would understand that you're just trying to save your child's life, right? Right. But when we do it to our people, it's looked at as rude. It's not rude. And the Lord is letting it be known who he's with in these end times, man. You ain't gotta like us, but the things that we've been saying since 1969, man, is holding true. You understand? And this is what the Bible's saying, man. Like, if we just do what the Bible's saying, we listen to what the Most High say and keep all of his commandments, the Most High say he'll set us on high above all these nations, man. You understand? He's gonna come up against our enemies. We don't go out, we ain't gotta go out there and become criminals by going out and just shooting and killing people and stuff like that, you You know, we ain't got to do that. We actually serve a living God. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like these other religions out here, and these other, you know, the Muslim mosques and these different organizations, they have to do those things. They have to do it. Why do they have to do it? They're not serving a living God.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They don't have a power that's fighting for them. So that's why they have to come up and they have to gather arms, and they have to do certain things that the Most High told us we ain't got to do. Of course we can defend ourselves. Like, we ain't Christians, so you ain't just going to do anything to us. You know, but at the end of the day, we're not going out here and seeking to destroy nobody. What we're seeking to destroy is the demons that's plaguing our people. You understand? Like, we fighting for the souls of our people. The Most High is going to take vengeance on these other nations, man.
Right.
Understand? Like, so we seen, like, we just saw with the Most High where he said the things that we have to do in order to pretty much be in his good graces. Now we're going to see what it is that we do that's going to put us in opposition to that. So if I could I get verse 15, Brother Bishop?
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
It is. I mean, that's straightforward, right? But if we don't listen to what the Most High say, you understand? Like, we don't do the will of the Most High, all of these curses from verses 16 through 68 is going to overtake us, man. And as we, you know, we're not going to go through all those scriptures, but as we read these scriptures are going to sound so familiar to us. You understand? Like, we're going to read the curses and we're going to say, oh yeah, I remember the time that happened. Oh yeah, that sounds relatable. Yeah, this happened to my brother, this happened to my aunt, this happened to my uncle, this happened to my father, my mother. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're so prone to being cursed that we're so prone to being cursed that the blessings, it's almost like we can't fathom.
Right.
It's almost like we cannot mentally wrap our minds around being blessed according to the Lord. You understand? Like, do we know what it really feels like to be on top of every nation on the face of the earth?
Right.
Like, can we actually fathom that? You see what I'm saying? Like, can we actually fathom that we're going to be the ones creating rules? We're going to be the governing bodies. We're going to be telling other nations when they can move, when they're not going to move, where they're going to live and when they're not going to live. You see what I'm saying? Like, the same thing that's being done to us, as far as like rulership, we will be ruling other nations, man. You understand? Like, people are going to live and die at your command. We cannot fathom that. But these curses, they sound all too familiar. You understand? Like, but this is also proof of who we are as a people, man. Like, as the nation of Israel, like, in order for us to be called even the nation of Israel, we actually got to fit these prophecies. It's not good enough for you just to fit the blessings. Everybody want to be blessed. Everybody want to say, well, look at the blessings we received. We got to be the nation of Israel. You understand? But when it comes to these curses, then it's everybody, I don't know about that. They want to do the bare minimum, you know? They want to do the bare minimum. You got so-called Italians who would say, listen, we didn't do anything. We came over here and we had to work hard. You understand? We weren't given everything like everyone else. You understand? No, you weren't. Like, no, you did not go through anything. Like, these blessings and these curses, they apply to the nation of Israel, man. There's only one people on the face of this earth that can fit these curses and that's going to receive these blessings, man. Go ahead, Dr. Lee, go something.
I remember that you said, speaking about the time, they would say that, but, we weren't handling anything. Yes, you was. I don't roll cocaine or dope. I was handling the drug herb.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like y'all don't know none of that. So somebody handed y'all that business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's a heavy point, Ronnie, for that, because not only were they handed it, they knew where to push it. You know what I'm saying? They knew where to grow it. They pushed it right into our communities.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If you were so ignorant to what you were doing and you were so oppressed, like an oppressed people would understand the oppressed people, right? So if you've been oppressed and you've been, held back or set back, you feel me? You would understand how we felt about things. And no, because you weren't oppressed, that's why you came up on us. That's why you fled, you pushed your dope into our communities. You understand? Like, all these nations are going to have to pay, man. You understand? Like, this is what the Lord is saying. I mean, we've seen what we have to do in order to receive the blessings of the Most High, and we've seen what we'll do to earn the curses that the Most High has placed upon us. You understand? Now, with that being said, that's why obedience to the Lord is so important. Because if we ever want to have our kingdom back, if we ever want to have the Lord's kingdom here on earth, we got to start obeying the Lord. That's why it's so important. That's why we got to come out of the Christian church. Like, that's why we talk about black leadership so much. You understand? Like, we talk about black leadership because the core of every mistake that we make is because of the propaganda that's been spread from our leadership from the time we came out of our mother's womb. You understand? From the time we came out of our mother's womb, we were taught that we had to love everybody. You understand? And in the midst of loving everybody, we were taught to hate each other. You understand? We were told from the time we were yay high, all you gotta do is believe in Christ, man. All you gotta do is believe on the blood of Jesus. All your sins have been forgiven. You've been baptized by the water. You are a clean person. This, that, and the third. You understand? We've never been held accountable for our actions. But guess what? The Most High still held us accountable for our actions. That's why you see so much death. That's why you see so much just like pillage in our communities, man. It's because the one thing that the Most High told us to do, our leadership have told us that we did not have to do it. They essentially sentenced us to death, man. You see what I'm saying? Like, they put a death sentence on you. You'll see a brother right now that, somebody wish death on a person right now in the street, you feel me? That's a war. You see what I'm saying? You say something, stick out your mouth and wish death on somebody or on their children in the street, you feel me? You're going to have to fight over that. Or it's going to be at least a shooting. Something going to happen. You see what I'm saying? That's essentially what's happening every time we go to church, man. And we're taught that we ain't got to keep no law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Like, that's why we have to go at these Christian churches and pretty much bring it out. Not because we have so much hatred in us. You understand? Like, that's the misconception. Not because we have so much hatred to where as though we just want to talk about people. Nah, but at the end of the day, if you are telling somebody to do something that's killing them, we have to tell them the truth. Like, we got to tell our people the truth. You know why? No one else on the earth will. You understand? You ever been in a household where you ever seen like a kid and that kid be bad as hell, man, doing what they want to do, talking how they want to talk, you feel me? And their parents are just pretty much enabling them, you feel me? Giving them everything they want. They kirk out or do something stupid and they get a reward for it. At the end of the day, that child needs to hear the truth. Not only do that child need to hear the truth, that parent need to hear the truth, you feel me? Somebody got to tell that parent that you are a horrible parent for rewarding these behaviors. Somebody got to tell that child, listen, you are wrong. And there's consequences for the things that you do. I mean, like, we're not here to take the easy road. You see what I'm saying? Like, to tell a person, like, to tell a people that we've erred, like, one of the hardest things for a person to hear, you may take a person that's 40, that's 50, and they feel like they've served God all their life. They've been in church all their life. Like, their entire life, family and everything, has been brought up with this one centralized idea. And here it is, you got to tell that person, everything that you learned, everything that you've been taught was a complete lie. You see what I'm saying? It's devastating, but at the end of the day, it's necessary. In order for that person to live, it's necessary. You understand? So this is why we have to speak the way we speak, man. The Lord told us to speak this way. You understand? Like, if I could, let me get Hosea 4 and 6, brother Kasha. You're gonna see this in the scriptures, man. You can read it when you get it, brother Kasha.
Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
And say, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, man. Like, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are literally destroyed. When I say destroyed, like, you can look at the conditions, the physical conditions that we're in. You can look at our communities, you know, our neighborhoods. You can speak on that level, but if you even look even deeper, man, look at the psychology behind it. Like, look at the mindset of our people. Like, we are destroyed because we have a lack of knowledge. And we don't lack the knowledge of this world. Like, I think they say the black woman is like the most educated woman or the most educated person on the face of the earth right now. Like, the black woman has degrees on top of degrees on top of degrees. You see what I'm saying? Like, black women love going to school. They love college. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't make no mistakes about it. Like, the so-called black woman, like, and it's not a knock, you know, it's okay in proper perspective to further your education in anything. But you'll have a situation where sister could be on a job and they'll say, listen, you're making $80,000 right here. But if you want to become a supervisor and you only want to be on salary, you can only make $70,000. All you got to do is get your degree. A sister will actually go to school and become a supervisor and lose $10,000 worth a year. You understand? For the status of it, to say she's a supervisor. You understand? I've seen it happen before. You see what I'm saying? Like, sisters love going to school. Right here, say that our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, man. Like, we don't have the proper knowledge. The knowledge of the Most High, the knowledge of these scriptures, man. And that's what's most important. Like, it's okay to have your degrees when you also understand that the Most High is, the knowledge of the Most High is far above all of these things. Get your degree, but keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Like, that's what we should be doing. There's nothing wrong with furthering your education, going as far as you can go. But make sure you're doing it while you're keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Any more of that?
Thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
They say, thou hast rejected knowledge, so I will also reject thee. You understand? Like, that's important, because, like, a lot of times when you reject the prophets of the Most High, you're not rejecting us. Like, you're literally rejecting, like, when we reject the prophets of the Most High, we reject the Most High Himself. You see what I'm saying? The Most High say, you reject me, I'll reject you. You understand? Can you read that one more time, Brother Bishop?
My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
Most High say, because we've rejected knowledge, man, because we've rejected the knowledge of these laws, statutes, and commandments, he's going to reject us, man. And that's what we've seen. Like, it don't take a rocket science to see that we are destroyed right now, man. Like, you'll have your uppity black and your uppity Negroes who feel like, oh no, that black person, all he need to do is get up early and work hard for his money, you know, pull himself up by his own bootstrap. You know, he don't see himself as one of us. You understand? But guess what? When it comes down to it, when that police get behind you, we are all the same. You understand? I don't care what your position is. Like, it just came out that they investigating some police from the riots after the George Floyd protesting. It was a black police officer in plain clothes. Police department beat the brakes off of him. You see what I'm saying? Like, here it is, he's thinking that he's one of them. You see what I'm saying? He's thinking he's part of the crew, you know? He probably told him, I'm one of you. Here's my badge. And he went to show that badge, you feel me? Man, they beat the brakes off of him. You see what I'm saying? They got with him, they tightened him up. He's lucky to have his life. You understand? But he thought that he was better than the brothers and sisters that was feeling the pain of another brother getting murdered. You see what I'm saying? In his mind, there's no way in the world that my colleagues will put their hands on me. You see what I'm saying? They taught him a lesson. At the end of the day, you were a brother just like the rest of us. You see what I'm saying? Like, and this is what we have to understand, man. If I could, let me get Isaiah 56 and 10. Matter of fact, we're going to start in verse 9. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 56, verse 9. All ye beasts of the field, come to devour ye. Yea, all ye beasts in the forest.
Right here, these beasts right here that's being spoken of, these are not beasts like a lion or a tiger or nothing like that. These beasts are talking about these other nations that come to devour the Lord's children, man. Like, how do these beasts come and destroy us? Stick your head outside, you feel me, and look down the street, either direction, you feel me? Either Yakami joint you see, you feel me? That's the beast that's destroying our people, you feel me? Any local gas station, you understand? Like, that's the beast that's destroying our people. Any Dunkin' Donuts you see, you understand? Like, that's the beast that's destroying our people, you understand? Any, what is it, what they famous? Any Starbucks you see, you understand? That's the beast that's destroying our people, man.
Right.
This is the beast that's being spoken of. They say, all ye beasts of the field come to devour, yea, all ye beasts in the forest. Keep on.
His watchmen are blind.
His who?
His watchmen are blind.
Now let me ask you a question. What's the job of a watchman? You feel me? Like, I know it sound complicated, right? But what's the job of a watchman? You feel me? Like, the job of a watchman is to actually watch.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The description is in the title. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, your job is to say, okay, I'm watching for these beasts that's coming into our neighborhood. You know, I'm watching these other nations come in and feed off my people, you understand? And because I'm watching, I'm going to see the danger before it actually gets close to us. You understand? I'm going to put a practice in, or I'm going to put some kind of safety measure that's going to protect my people before the beasts get to us, you understand? Like, that's the job of a watchman. You understand? Like, you shouldn't have, the beast shouldn't be in your gates already before you decide that you got to do something with it. Like the job of a watchman is to see this beast coming from afar, you understand? But far too often, the watchmen of our people, they've already made alliances with the beast of the field. You understand? Like they went to they sat at the round table with them. They've sat there and plotted with them. They've actually showed them this is how we're going to move. We can set up on this corner. You can open up shop right here. All you got to do is do X, Y, and Z. You understand? They're going to come out in droves. You understand? Like the same watchman that is supposed to protect us and keep us safe, they're the same watchmen who sold us out. You understand? Let's see what the Lord has to say. Keep going, Bumper Bishop.
His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant.
It say his, so like he say his watchmen are blind. Like it's named the oxymoron in the first couple words. His watchmen are blind. Like you supposed to be watching and you can't see. You see what I'm saying? You're ignorant, meaning like you ain't got a clue. You understand? Like you ain't got a clue as to what's really been going on, because our watchmen think that they making deals for their own benefit, not knowing that they're going to get ate up too. Like that's what they fail to realize. Like our so-called leadership, they think that they're making deals in which they're going to be the ones that eat and benefit and prosper. They don't realize that by them doing what they're doing against us and against the Lord is going to move against them as well. You understand? Prime example, what's the sister, the mayor that just got jammed up, Catherine Pugh. I mean, they jammed her up over a child's book. Healthy Holly. I mean, she teaching kids how to eat fruits and vegetables. You see what I'm saying? And she lost her entire mayorship, so to speak, and she was supposed to do prison time behind it. And the Asian conglomerates or the Asian business partners that she had, they pulled back the funds that they invested into her. You understand? Them funds that they invested into her was the hush money. Was them paying her to turn the blind eye. It was paying her to turn the blind eye that every time you hear about an illegal immigrant, instead of you thinking about the Asian that's in our community, we want to think about the Hispanics, our brothers. You understand? That's the hush money. You think these Asians, like, they always talk about our brothers, you know, they got the hashtag Stop Asian Hate right now. Stop Asian Hate. Listen, the same hate that they have for our Hispanic, like for our Issacharite brothers, that's real hate. Come. Come.
They said Black Lives Matter. They had to come up with a slogan that said all lives matter.
Come. Like, and just to bring it up what Cap just said, you know, the water for that point too. All lives matter. People value what they have to say. But when you say Black Lives Matter, they have to have something to combat it. There has to be some kind of offset or some kind of they were saying what? Blue lives matter. All lives matter. You know, this lives matter and all that nonsense, you see what I'm saying? White lives matter. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's actually a hashtag that says Stop Asian Hate. Who the hell is hating the Asian? Like, who's hating them? Like, according to our oppressor statistics, they are number 1 and 2 for illegal immigration in this country. Them and the East Indians are 1 and 2. That means everyone, them Dunkin' Donuts cats with the red dots on their forehead, the majority of them are illegal immigrants, if not all. Them Asians that's in these nail shops, and they got these laundromats and they got the laundromats market sewn up. The laundromat and what's the other one where they fix the tailor and stuff like the dry cleaners, right? They got the market sewn up on that. Like, they'll speak on our Issacharite brothers and say, you need to speak English, you need to do this, that, and the third. When last time you had a conversation with a so-called, with an Asian? Go ahead,
That's super hard when you bring it up. I deal with Asian Most of the Koreans that I deal with cannot speak English, which I'm saying they're illegal immigrants because you got to go through, schooling to be a citizen.
Right.
You should know how to talk all English.
Right.
I deal with Koreans that speaks no English.
It's a lot. They don't even know facial expressions. You see what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, if you can't communicate with a brother, with a Issacharite brother, maybe you don't speak Spanish or something. Listen, I can put a look on my face and they'll understand everything that I need for them to understand because we got that same vibe. You see what I'm saying? You look at the Asian in his eyes. I want them right there. You pointing to him. He ain't got a clue. They don't speak no English, man. But no one speaks on that. When they send them ICE agents through and they talk about illegal immigration, you think the Asians are worried? You think the East Indians are worried? Despite the fact that they're number 1 and 2 in illegal immigration, they don't care. So my whole thing is, who's hating the Asian? I tell you who's loving them though. I mean, our black leaders that's supposed to be loving our people, instead of loving our people, our black leadership has started loving these other nations, man. Right. And because they love these other nations, they begin to hate us. That's why you'll see a Ray Lewis get on TV and berate the victims instead of saying anything on the actual perpetrator of a crime. Right. You understand? Go ahead, you got something?
Once again, having people talk about it, they can throw it off a little bit.
No, do you think so?
George Floyd, you know what I'm saying? This court occurrence. Every time you go to George Floyd, on the news, they say, they said it was a fake $20 bill, and it's not a fake $20 bill. You know what I'm saying? Now they go into this drug, they said he was high when he was arrested. It doesn't even matter at this point. If he was high or not, he killed the man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're not going to the man's background and say, oh yeah, he was high off of this and that. And, you know what I mean? Like, there they go on something that they ain't supposed to, trying to destroy, our character. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But that's a product of what they do.
Right.
You understand? Like, our leadership is telling our people to go out here and protest, march in the street. No justice, no peace. That's one of the slogans, right? There's no justice, no peace. You understand? Like, we ain't getting no justice, but we are at peace with them. You understand? Even though we don't get justice, we are still at peace with them. You understand? And I'm not telling anybody to go out there and go to war and then put their hands or do anything violent towards anybody. But if you're going to yell no justice, no peace, you feel me? That no peace that you should have, it should be a spiritual awakening for every black person on the face of this earth, man.
Right.
I mean, like, even though we're not battling, it's like the scripture says, we don't battle, our war is not carnal, you understand? Like, we fight a spiritual war right now. At the end of the day, the war we should be, like, it should be something that rises up in us to say, you know what? This stuff is happening over and over again. How much marching can we do? At the end of the day, I got to consolidate the love that I have for everybody in the earth. I got to consolidate it and just love my people the same way everybody else loves their own. You understand? Why is it good for any other nation to love their own, but it's not good for us to love our own? You see what I'm saying? What's the number one thing you hear about ISUPK, you feel? Aren't you a hate group? No, this is actually a love group, man. Like, we love black people, man. We love Hispanic people. We love Native American people, man. But we're not just saying that, like, this is really one family, man. And that's how we look at it. That's how we view it. That's how we treat it. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is how the Lord expects us to be with each other. The Lord expects us to look at each other and value each other as brothers, man. Though the world look at us as thugs and criminals, fugitives and savages and stuff like that, that's because that's projection. That's like what they really are is what they project onto us, you understand? The problem is we begin to believe it. You understand? Like, who's the biggest savage on the face of this earth, man? Who's the biggest murderer on the face of this earth? Who's the biggest liar, the biggest deceiver, you know, the bloodiest man on the face of this earth, man? I tell you what, it ain't none of these tribes. It ain't black, Hispanic, or Native American people. You know, what about black on black crime? You understand? Like, that's the first argument that they had. And yeah, black on black crime is wrong. You understand? But what about the war? What about the war that you waged on our people, man? Like, the only reason it's black on black crime is because what you've done to our people. You understand? So, like, your argument in itself is invalid. You understand? But this is what our blind watchmen can't see. Let's keep going with that scripture, brother. You start from the top. Top of 10.
Verse 10. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, longing to slumber.
It is, the Most High said they are dumb dogs, man. Like, the purpose of a dog, man, like, one thing that a dog would do is he's going to bark. The dog is going to bark when he sees danger, when he senses something that's not right. You see what I'm saying? Like, in this scripture, you know, the dumb is not talking about you know, just being stupid or something like that. Dumb was, you ever heard the term deaf and dumb? You understand? It's for a person that can't hear or speak. You feel me? Dumb meaning you can't speak. So if the purpose of a dog was for a dog to bark, and that dog is dumb, that means that dog can't even do what it's damn near designed to do. You feel me? Can't bark. I mean, who are you going to warn if you can't bark as a dog? That goes right along with the watchman. Who the hell are you going to watch if you're blind? You see what I'm saying? This is talking about black leadership, man. This is black leadership right here. Go ahead, Nacho.
Once again, you bring up the evidence, you know what I'm saying? And just to show, you know, I'm going to go off a little bit, just to show that this is a black man's book. You know what I'm saying? Because right here, the Lord is talking in how black people talk. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in the 60s, we were like, you know, that job turkey, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, we're talking like that. You know, them cats over there, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's a jive turkey, you know what I'm saying? The Lord giving me back in the ancient day, look, they dumb dogs, you know what I'm saying? That's just the way they talk. That's why, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Bringing out the text, you know what I'm saying? White man is the devil.
Damn right.
That's what it is.
Damn right. No, you don't sweat. Let me get, matter of fact, let's continue this for, you know, a few more scriptures, and we're going to hit it, get something else. So let's finish this down a little further.
Verse 11. Yea, they are all greedy dogs, which can never have enough.
Hey, they are greedy dogs, man, that can never have enough. First and foremost, you're a dog that don't bark. So, I mean, your damn near, like, your whole purpose is null and void. You see what I'm saying? You can't warn nobody nothing. But on top of you not being able to do your own job, you're greedy.
Right.
And you cannot have enough. I mean, so it's not good enough that you don't do your job, man. When it comes to the spoils for the people, you understand? Like, you want to eat everybody else's gain as well. You're greedy. This is the Christian pastor right here, man.
Right.
I mean, goddamn, like, how much of a building fund do you need? You see what I'm saying? You can just build damn near a city block worth of a church. You see what I'm saying? How much more of a building fund do you need? You got cars for every day of the week, man.
Right.
You understand? You got your Rolls Royce for Sunday. You got your Bentley for Monday. Your Lex and your Benz for Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever you desire. You see what I'm saying? Like you rolling high, you rolling heavy in the dough. You see what I'm saying? You greedy. Go ahead.
Just hanging on children, catching limousines to school.
Like doing all manners of wickedness, man. It's greediness. You understand? Like, here's the thing. It's one thing for you to have to accumulate some kind of wealth, and you've actually worked hard and done what you were supposed to do for it. You understand? But it's another thing for you not even to be able to do the job that you were designed to do. You feel me? And you're still greedy. You see what I'm saying? You would think that you'd have some kind of compassion to say, you know what? I did some of my people out. I did, do wrong by them. Maybe Sister May. Maybe instead of me letting her go without her gas and electric this month, maybe I go and pay it for the year. You see what I'm saying? Instead of that brother being set out this month, you feel me? How about I go and pay his mortgage or pay his rent? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's no compassion there, man. None at all. And we're evil. No, man, listen, these wicked pastors and these wicked leaders of black people, man, they are the reason we can't be obedient to the Lord. You understand? Like, our obedience to the Lord is the kingdom of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's how we build the Lord's kingdom. Through obedience and doing the will of the Most High. We have leaders who are actually teaching against that. It's heresy, actually, you feel me? You understand? Like, this will not happen in the Lord's kingdom.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, the things that happen right now from our leadership, man, in old times and times to come, you feel me? Damn, there will be death penalty offenses. Understand? Like, and that's what they don't realize. Like, you're doing like what these leaders are doing is so detrimental to our people, because this is like you're passing along generational curses, man. Like, this curse don't just affect this person that you're speaking to. They're going to teach this same principle, this same logic, this same false doctrine to their children and their children's children and their children's children. You understand? So now you got 4 and 5 generations of people, you understand, disobeying the Lord. And we wonder why we've been over here, 400 or 500 years, still in the same condition that we're in. And you could take an Asian and a man, in the words of man Kawampa Lot, straight off a rice paddy, and in 6 months they more richer than any black man in the hood that's been here 40 or 50 years. Mr. Johnson had that store holding on by the shackles, you understand, since 1960. You see what I'm saying? And that Moabite comes over, and in 6 months he's acquired, can't speak no English, but he's acquired the wealth to buy the block. You see what I'm saying? It's absolutely, it's ridiculous, man. You understand? Let me get Isaiah 31 and 3.
Isaiah chapter 31, verse 3. Now the Egyptians are men and not God.
Here it is saying the Egyptians, man, like, these are men, man, like, in this time, like, Egyptians were superpowers back then. Like, the Lord is saying they ain't nothing but men, man. They're not God, you understand? This is the same for the so-called oppressor that we're under, you understand? He's nothing more than a man, you understand? Keep going.
And their horses flesh and not spirit.
Like, their horses, like they're pretty much like their tools that they use against us. Like, in this case, it's talking about horses. It's flesh, man. It's not spirit. You understand? Like, meaning like this thing can be pretty much conquered. You understand? Keep going. Keep going.
When the Lord shall stretch out his hand he that helpeth shall fall.
Here it is. It say, when the Lord shall stretch out his hand, you understand? Who is the Lord going to stretch his hand out to? He's already been stretching out to us, you understand? So,
Right.
when the Lord stretches his hand out to these other nations, man, it said, both he that helpeth shall fall. Who's that talking about? Good, let's go. Come. That's talking about Israelites, man. That's talking about our people, you understand? When the Most High move against these people, man, these other nations, which he will, we want to go and help them out and pull them out of the bind and stuff like that. Most High just said, both he that helpeth shall fall, you understand? Keep going.
And he that helpeth shall fall down.
That so-called white man, that oppressor, that colonizer is going to fall down, man. You understand? Make no mistakes about it. It ain't that if he's going to fall down and say when. Keep going.
And they all shall fall together.
And they shall all fail together, you understand? Like, we see this week in and week out, man. A lot of times when we getting on these, we bringing out, we showing the earth who the devil of the Bible is, we'll see one of our own people come to save them.
Right.
Come on, you don't need this.
Right.
These brothers is wicked, they crazy. You don't need to hear that. They don't need to be talking to nobody like that, you know. That's what it's saying, you know. Like, we got to stop loving them. You understand? Like, you can help them now and think that everything's okay. But here's the thing, the Most High is saying when our people, when he comes back to declare judgment on these other nations, and he's coming back to destroy them, if we want to get our hands and if we want to join forces with them and try to help them out and pull them out of their hell, you understand? We're going to be destroyed just as they will be.
Right.
You understand? We got to step aside, man. We got to come back, be obedient to the Lord, man, and do what the Lord say, and build our kingdom and allow the Lord to exact vengeance on the same people that's oppressing us, man. Go ahead, you got something to do?
In the day of, the Lord's return, it's going to be a glorious thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And in the midst of that, you know what I'm saying, we're going to have our own people, police officers, military personnel,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, going against the Most High.
Regular pedestrians, too.
Going against our Messiah.
Right, regular pedestrians, too. Don't make no mistakes about it, right? Regular pedestrians.
Right.
They ain't got no military background. But because our oppressor is fallen, they feel like they have, like, we're going to feel like we have to fight for them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The Lord is saying, listen, I'm letting you know now. You want to join hands with them and you want to try to help them out when I'm punishing them? You'll fall with them. You understand? We don't know that unless we get taught that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We have to be taught that lesson.
Right.
Guess who understands that lesson right now? These so-called Asians that, the hashtag was made, Stop Asian Hate. Do you think that when the Lord is punishing us, do you think that they step in and help us out? Like, do they put their hand in and try to help bring us out of this hole? You understand? We getting our heads blown off in the streets. Are they stepping in and saying, listen, America, we're not going to trade with you if you continue to treat their people that way? You understand? Go ahead, Dr. Zoro.
The kids in college,
Right. Right. They understand that lesson. Every other nation on the face of this earth understands that lesson, except us. That's why we got to be taught it. You understand? Listen, there's going to come a day that the Lord is going to exact vengeance on these heathens, man, and these other nations. You understand? Like, we don't have to do nothing. We don't have to raise up arms. Like, we ain't got to do anything but serve the Lord, man. Be obedient to the Lord, and that's what our war is right now. It's a spiritual war and not that of carnality, you understand? And with that, priest and officer of 1,000 Matthias Bmopre, I'm going to pass the class over to priest and officer of 1,000 Natasol for a reading of the security announcements.
security announcements. We had an ISUPK coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command of Jenny Yohana. The rules for brothers and sisters: when a brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, means 10th in Hebrew, and is pronounced Ma'ashara. 10% of 10% of every penny increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds, not mandatory, whatsoever you like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, we have the 52nd annual Passover on the 24th. It's going to be a glorious time. Check your schools for further details, for booking. Reminding the Aquathium to check on social media, such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to become a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, headbands, and scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, Israel Madiam, Mani Shabbat, Mani Barak, Yahba Shemel Shabrak Dub,
Yahba Shemel Shabrak Dub,
Yani Matai, class dismissed.
Any man give his life for Yahweh Shai Mashiach in Christ and fall up under that UPK banner. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary.
It's all about that warfare, boy. Give back up, give back up, It's all about that warfare, boy. Take my soldiers take grip till I'm stand down. Take grip. My soldiers take grip till I'm stand down. Take grip. Now this ain't no movement, this a takedown. We will not be moved or intimidated. We ain't the type. You got a problem, tell them cross the fucking line. My niggas ain't polite. Soldiers to the left and right. I die for every man body. Before I be a coward, I'd rather be a dead body. This will be my kingdom when the hour pass. You can either get with it or get flipped like an hourglass. We live by honor and no excuse. Just send the prayer up to the Lord. I told him to let all the terrorists loose. Hold your tongue or get rebuked, cause you made a truce. With a race to make merchandise out of my abuse. Scared of who? You got your gun, then pull it. Me and my niggas start to argue, it's about who gon' bite the bullet. It gon' take round. Opponents better move slow. Attack dog for this truth, nigga, cool zone. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give back up. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take grip. My soldiers take grip till I'm stand down. Take grip. tell them stand down. Oh, thought you could cross us with no consequence, but you will pay dearly. You should've used your common sense. My zeal lit, that mean you could never prevail. Hey, with a true sin, hey, when warriors dwell. Be wise with the weapons, cause I promise my nine just like my wife, she concealed, she modest. I know two things, a robber will not prosper. And any man harm me and my octave gon' meet the doctor. Cause this life is warfare, it's not an easy walk. Been watching my people die so you can miss me with that love talk. My UPK soldiers, any man try to cross your path, make him regret it. What that means, fall on his age. Comparing me to you really ain't no contest. Lonely one west, say what? Lonely one west. This for those who thinking we ain't ready for 'em. Tell them back up, I'm about to drop something heavy for 'em. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down.
That's what it looked like though.
West till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. One west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. They ain't scaring me. Rip the soul out of Pharisee. Speaking heresy, it get you fucked up apparently. It's like they daring me. I said chill, they ain't hearing me. They ain't listening. Every bar nitroglycerin. Hit your heart, bring it back to start, make you live again. Get them dividends, so we start getting ignorant. I be on that soldier shit. I told you shit phenomenal. Nobody a domino. So what you suckers trying to do? Rhyming comical, guess it's funny until I'm bombing you. Bring apocalypse to them pussy niggas that's popping shit. Team of all stars, I coach them up like I'm Popovich. Fuck the politics and the lobbyists and apologists. They vagina, so we gon' check them like gynecologists. It's kinda obvious how the situation is ominous. The way I vomit this and regurgitate for the audience. They start applauding this cause the competition is fraudulent. From the era where niggas smoke you up like a parliament. The flow been stupid, shit has gotten retarded since all the dominance of one west rising to prominent. Cause I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. They want a nigga quiet, mute my maneuvers, but I ride like I got group files for Uber. Rhymes hard like they been viewed by Medusa. 9 milli